Diecast and I are sitting down here with Andrew Franks and David Proctor. These guys are formerly working with Hasbro on lines such as Transformers, G.I. Joe, I think Marvel, etc. But they've since broken off and are doing a Kickstarter project on their new line, Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, and it looks great. Guys, really quickly, tell us about Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S and Boss Fight Studios.
So we were all working for Hasbro for in various capacities on various brands, and we had a certainly a great experience there. But we decided the time was right a couple of years ago to break off on our own and to sort of form our own thing. We've Boss Fight Studio is really geared towards doing both freelance work for other entities, but our own product as well. We had sort of saw quite the need to re-inject some of the creativity and originality back into the toy market, rather than seeing a lot of the same few licenses and the same few characters endlessly churned out over and over again. So yeah, hopefully we're hitting that with Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, our first original product line.
Yeah, like Andrew said, with Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, when we set out to create our own product, we wanted to hit on a number of key points, and one of them was we wanted to bring newness back to the market, because as we worked on so many of our beloved brands, at Hasbro, like I worked on G.I. Joe for a lot of years as well. So it's like your 10th Storm Shadow, and you kind of want to explore a little bit more of a new characters, new aspects. And as much as we love those characters, it's also there's a reason why we love them. That's because at some point they were new, so, and then we they were new, they were cool, and we were drawn to them then. So it's kind of like trying to bring that feeling back with our Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S line, and starting with the Greek mythology theme. We're trying to set it up in such a way that there really are like no limits with what we can do with the line. We've revealed some of our plans for Series 2 and Series 3, being fantasy based for Series 2, and more of like a space sci-fi, retro space sci-fi for Series 3. We've also got a lot of really cool stuff that we haven't revealed yet and plan in mind. Yeah, I mean, we created Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S with the idea of expanding the possibilities of what we can offer, as well as making stuff for collectors they're highly articulated, they're highly detailed, they're very customizable. All of us at Boss Fight, we customize and like to participate in the hobby that way too. And so we want to make it a little easier for people to be able to do that with our figures as well. So maybe opening that up to people who aren't, we know there are a lot of different people out there with different skill levels, and some of them they'll customize it no matter what and do a fantastic job. Others, they don't feel as comfortable doing that, and they may have an easier time customizing with some Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S figures.
So years ago, Mattel would do like an expansion pack or something for the Masters of the Universe figures, and Hasbro also did that with G.I. Joe. Additional weapons, etc. There were, I think, a couple of those released. So with these figures being so customizable, do you see yourselves like releasing more like accessories, or are you just going to expand with new toys and have everything sort of be interoperable?
Yeah, mostly the latter. It's not going to be kind of the old razor and blade 12-inch G.I. Joe model where you have one body and then you keep buying parts for it. It's very much focused on getting lots of new figures out there with lots of variation. But what we've built a compatibility into them. The armor is removable and interchangeable. The heads and the arms should easily be interchangeable. And that's not to say that we aren't doing accessory packs. Those are stretch goals in the Kickstarter, to get some weapons and armor in really cool different colors, and we really hope to expand upon that idea in the future. We want to be offering sort of the broadest range of cool stuff, that allows the most play and creativity out there.
We do actually have the like recently unlocked a few stretch goals ago was the base body stretch goal wave 1. So we are offering the figures in undecoed cast color, with various colors available. So you'll be able to buy, if you're trying to customize a certain character. A lot of a big concern with customizers is the joints and the paint rub. And
Oh
if
yeah.
you get the joint, if you paint over the joint and then you articulate the arm, the paint rubs right off. So if you got a character and his elbow is black and his upper arm is blue, you can get a blue upper arm and a black lower arm and combine the two and then paint where you need to paint, and you don't have to worry about that black rubbing off that joint. So that's part of the beauty of those base bodies.
So are these going to be so are they going to be compatible with other lines? Are there any other lines out there that with the accessories would work well with these?
They're very much going to look great displayed with your Joes, your Star Wars, and there's definitely a little bit of sharing back and forth that can happen with the Marauder Task Force figures that we also developed for Marauder Inc. But the particular build of the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S is kind of we look on it as something of a proprietary thing, and it's very much contained within itself. That said, there's going to be so many options for customizing, and maybe you want your Spartan to have a huge machine gun, and that's going to be awesome.
That would be awesome. So okay, so I've looked through the photos. I haven't read through everything yet. So you guys are saying these are 3 3/4 inch.
Yeah, they're modern 3 3/4 inch, which is actually 4 inch. If you look at your,
Oh my gosh!
if you look at your,
they look like they're 6 inches.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm serious. They look with the amount of detail in here. I thought they were like 6-inch figures. They look amazing. That's amazing work, guys.
Thank you. It's funny that you said that. You asked about the cross compatibility with other lines, and where initially we were thinking that would be so great to do, but the more we tried to look at that, the more we found it limited the improvements we could make. So it's like we decided to just go and make it our own, make it so cross compatible beyond all the Vitruvian hacks. And try to, that way we're able to improve on the design and the function of the articulation and all that, and as well as make it for ease of customizability too, of course. But yeah, I mean, for mid-level to experienced customizers, I'd say you could switch parts with other brands with minimal, effort, I would say. Not too much effort, a little bit of gap filling here or something like that, and probably be able to get your other parts to fit with the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S figures.
So I own a 3D printer. No chance of like any sort of like standard connector like 3D model or something being released so that I could like make my own like really awesome robotic arm to go on Medusa or anything like that. I take it.
Well, I think that's a lot of companies are talking about doing stuff like that. It's definitely I'm not sure what model 3D printer do you have at home.
I have the Solid Doodle 2.
Okay. Right. It's now since we're focusing more on a 4-inch scale, 4-inch, 3 3/4 inch scale figure. It's really tough for home 3D printers to get that type of detail on the small size.
That's true.
So it's I mean, who knows what's like our motto is like, there are no limits. So maybe someday, but for right now, we like to stick with the manufactured figures. We feel like that's the best bet to get the quality that we want to deliver to our customers and collectors.
Well, this is great. We'll get back to more of this in just a second. Diecast. So, what questions we have around Transformers?
Oh, around Transformers. Oh, God. When's the last time you worked with Transformers?
And what was your last project?
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
We did the FSS and BotCon heads for the Transformers Collectors Club. So everything that was either a new tooling on a BotCon exclusive or was revealed at the recent BotCon, those were all our sculpts. And before that, we did a number of other items for the club. We've done bits and pieces of stuff for Hasbro. As boss fight, we did we did some decos on the new Potato Head Transformers line.
I love those.
They're pretty cute. But before that, in my last year at Hasbro, I did the designs and came up with the concept for the Wreckers combiner set that was the new heads,
Bruticus,
new heads on the Combaticons. So that was kind of my baby.
Did you come up with did you decide to use Ruination for the combiner mode?
Ruination wasn't the name. That was something they came up later. I think it's a great one. I was originally I can't remember what the name I had originally put on the concept sheets was. It was something more focused on Zeron being the combiner mode. Using that, I thought having Zeron as the head of the combined robot was a nice Easter egg. So in this, I mean, you're a fan as well. Absolutely.
I mean, or did you? So. How long have you actually been a fan of Transformers?
Well, I was definitely a big fan as a kid. I think I got into collecting very seriously in 1993 when G2 came out, and I've sort of been a big Transformers convert ever since. I've got a huge soft spot in my heart for G2. There's something about that, the neon colors and the the bit of silliness around it that really appeals to me. I did a when I was doing exclusives in my last year at Hasbro, I did a set. It was originally going to go to Walmart. It was like a special ultimate value pack that had a Jazz and Optimus Prime in those G2 colors, and that was really exciting.
You're my hero.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, I love G2. I love the later Euro G1 stuff. I love all that stuff. Love it a lot. David, I take it you're more of a G.I. Joe guy.
I'm a sculptor and at Hasbro, I used to be a sculptor and sculpt manager for about 7 years, I think, before coming to Boss Fight. Before that, I was a freelance sculptor. Hasbro in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, they don't do a ton of Transformers sculpting. So I actually didn't, while I was at Hasbro, I didn't get a huge amount of opportunity to work on Transformers. I did get to work on some of those little robot heroes figures. I did the Ultra Magnus, the little 2-inch PVC cute style versions. I did the Ultra Magnus and the Optimus Prime with where he's pulling the Matrix apart. I did also work on, like you say, I did work on almost all the other brands pretty extensively, though, Marvel, Star Wars, and definitely G.I. Joe. From I was sculpt manager of the line from Pursuit of Cobra onwards, including all the stuff from the concept case that they showed in the previous Joe Cons. The new 50th was somebody else, but they're using a lot of the canceled figures that I had worked on for that, which is cool. I hope they use them all, actually. Yeah, so my first actual Transformer head sculpts, like for Transformers that actually transform, were done for the FSS and the Collectors Club. So,
and I know you guys worked on the most recent, the 3.0 that was just unveiled, right? Like Croc, I saw on the So, was it all the figures or just that one, just like Croc specifically?
No, it was. I think all the ones that we did the sculpts for were. It started with Chrome Dome, Rewind, Rampage, Thrustinator, and then we did the DevCon, the Cannonball, the Scorponok, and the Croc and Karzap.
So knowing with Scorponok, that was a little different because, well, and I guess it really wasn't that different since you started with a base piece. I mean, that started with the Fort Max head. I mean, with Spike head from.
Yeah. Scorponok was, you could say, an interesting challenge. Figuring out a way to retrofit the existing Headmaster figure to the existing Scorponok body took quite a bit of doing. We made, and I think Pete made a reference to how much work went into it on the panel, but we made a number of passes on both the design end and the sculpting end to sort of get that fit and that look right. It was a tough project. The other one that was pretty difficult was the Rampage, right, Dave?
Oh yeah. When you're working with existing parts and new heads or new pieces that have to interact with those, it can be very tricky actually at times because we're doing our sculpting digitally these days, and without having there he is. I actually haven't seen that yet. Cool.
It's a very nice looking figure.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. I have to get one of those. You don't actually have while working on these, we don't have digital model of the previous figure. So I can't take the Megatron body and then use it in my program to double check sizes and thicknesses and everything. So that one, the Rampage in particular, was really a challenge because of all his horns and his design. So he's got these horns coming off in every angle, and plus there's this oval toilet shaped thing that slides down over his neck for the transformation. So and to get those horns to pass through there, as well as try to get all the he also had a lot of fine detail for as far as the Transformer heads are concerned. So he's got all this deep cuts and the deep slashes in his mouth, and all the little claws that wrap around his face. So it's when you do that type of detail, it's hard enough when it's a bigger piece, but when you're going smaller and smaller with it to get it to fit the existing body size and deal with the limitations, it's really tricky. I think I haven't seen the final one up close, but I think some modifications were made to it, to the horns especially. I know the original sculpt had very crisp, sharp horns on it. I'm not sure what they changed.
Yeah. I have one, and I've been able to compare, and I think it's China engineering getting a little overzealous with worrying about the sharp points. That can always be an issue. But yeah, they were unfortunately blunted quite a bit.
Yeah, actually, since we're doing a video here, it kind of gives me a chance to show you guys.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that definitely is different.
Yeah.
So
does that bother you guys when you spend a lot of time designing something and then the final product doesn't come out the way you really intended it to come out?
Oh, it sometimes it does. But I've been doing this for getting on 12 years total now, and it's definitely not a new thing. It's something that we always deal with. You just try to, each time you do it, you adapt, try to improve, see something that maybe didn't work the last time as well as you wanted, try to figure out why that happened, and just try to correct it for the next one. It's always a process of that. As long as I've been doing this, there's never been a time where it's like, oh yeah, I got this. There's nothing to be learned, from the last time. It's always a process of making the next one better than the last one. We continue that with our boss fight products, as well as with all the work we do with clients, such as Fun Pub on these transformer heads, and so it's sometimes it can be discouraging. I'd say those times are typically when you either had to overcome a lot of adversity to figure something out, and then it was changed in spite or of what you had done, or when you know that something has worked in the past and you have examples of it succeeding, and then you get the piece back and it's been changed, and that's, I think, the most frustrating thing is I got that on G.I. Joe. I got that a lot on hand grips. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, you might. One big complaint that people have is like, well, the hand grip isn't always as consistent as we want. Well, it's like, in the sculpts, we try to make them functional every single time. You build your hand grip, you add the right amount of overlap of the fingers and such, and then next thing you know, you get your part back, and the thumb's been stretched, the fingers have been opened, maybe you filled in a little bit, and that makes it easier to mold, but it also makes it so the figure can't hold the weapon so well. And then there'll be other times you get it back exactly how you sent it. The character holds the weapon great. So I think those are the times that were most frustrating for me, just because it's like, well, I know we did this before. How come, why are we not able to do it this time?
So with your own stuff, with the figures that you're producing for Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, is that going to be a concern, or is it going to be exactly as you spec it out?
So our partners in China, people that we've worked with some of these people for years, and they have the same collector mindset that we have. So it's definitely not going to be as much of an issue there, because we'll have much more say over that step of the process than we used to have. It'll be more focused on quality and quality results rather than speed of getting the stuff out the door. So so if we're focused on providing the highest level of quality, detail, function, and all that in our product. So if something's not working out right, we won't just sit there and say, oh well, on to the next one. We'll fix it. We'll make sure it works right before we bring it to market. Here's the Medusa figure. She has a articulated snake tail, which is something we really wanted to do with this line. It has all these different ball joint sections inside that will allow you to position the figure, curl the tail up. You can disassemble the tail as well. There's all these different poses you can get. The top section here, it's going to be a soft PVC section. It does have skeletal joints inside, so you can. Right now, this piece is a little harder than it will be, but you'll be able to bend her at that section too, which would be about where the knees would be on a person. So I mean, you can actually coil her up, get her to stand. The photographs I've taken of these blue models have been taken without assistance, so they actually can stand without any assistance as well. If you check us out on Facebook or the Kickstarter, I'm sure you'll see some of those images that I'm talking about. We also got. I'll show you the male figure here, who is to demonstrate just the general posability of our figures. So this is the base body male. It's used for the Spartan figure. as well as all the other male figures in the first series. There are a variety of different heads that we've made for the different characters, as well as different armor pieces. But you get double knee, you've got a nice functioning hip there, insert ball joint ankle. You have the waist swivel. That waist swivel is actually meant for to help with customizability. If you've ever tried to customize a G.I. Joe figure and all you want to do is switch the legs and nothing else, you switch the legs, but then you got to paint the pelvis piece there. You got to paint the rest of the pants to match. So by having that section there, you can actually take off the whole lower body from one of our figures and take another lower body on and stick it on there. So you don't have to paint. If that was all you want to do, you don't have to paint anything on it if you don't want to. So he's also got a ball jointed torso. He's got a double ball neck, so he gets a really great neck positioning. A lot of cool natural poses with the neck.
Yeah, that's really nice. I've never seen anything like that on a.
You got like I've been doing articulated figures at the scale for a long time. It's something of a specialty, so I've really tried to up the bar with what we can do with our figure.
Its shoulder's not ratcheted.
Oh, that's just
I
the
thought I heard a
friction
ratcheting
of this
sound.
urethane piece. It actually, right now, the shoulder is just a smooth peg. Sorry, I'm holding it up. So, but in production, there will be nubs on there to allow for moderate force to be able to pull the piece apart. We don't want it to be able to be too easy to take apart so that you're moving around, his arm falls off. But at the same time, we don't. We're trying to. Our goal is to make it so that you can give it a good pull and get the piece to come out, and then switch with another figure, and they'll be able to be detached at pretty much all the joints. The main place where it won't be able to detach is the knee, because of the double knee and the pins. That could be disassembled the traditional way. Use a little hot water or hair dryer and remove the pins that way, and then switch if you want to. We do have a cool hip joint disassembly feature as well, which you're able to kind of pull the figure's leg off like this, and then pop the new leg on. And the way that we've designed this is to include a PVC leg which helps you get a lot of nice detail, as well as being able to disassemble the figure without need of a screw or anything like that. So that's a cool little innovation that we've included, that we've developed specifically for this line, Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S. You can also have, I mentioned the hand grips before. We're trying to get really tight hand grips here that sort of in a way that I've not successfully gotten from my previous works at Hasbro. So we're trying to get up the ante here. We're getting some, you can pose your figure out in a variety of different poses. We got the hard copies are getting a little loose because I've been posing them and photographing them so much. But
you've been playing with them, admit it.
Oh, you got me. So you can get some really cool poses with these guys. And it's actually worth noting that each figure in the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S line, including the base bodies and all the characters, they feature two sets of hands rather. So 4 hands. They have different ranges of motion. So the first one is front to back. So that'll allow you to point the sword, angle the sword backward like that. The other one, let me put his sword in there. The other one is side to side, which will allow you to rotate the sword outward and inward. So, so depending on what you want to do, you want to pose this guy out, with one sword pointing forward in a sort of aggressive battle stance type thing, and one sword outward. You can get some cool poses like that.
Wow.
These are so awesome. So are these going to hit retail as well?
So
I failed to ask that before.
the plan is that that once we get through the Kickstarter, all the Kickstarter backers are going to, once the figures are produced, they're going to get theirs first. But then we are going to offer them at a couple of different retail avenues. Primarily will be our own web store, which we're still in the process of setting up. And then we're going to work with some select specialty retailers to also carry them, and some of those guys may have some special exclusives. We're still working things out. So, but yeah, basically, if you're used to buying collectible toys on the internet, there's going to be plenty of places to buy them. We are specifically for now avoiding the mass retailers. Because these are very much adult collectibles. They're not going to be safety tested for children. They're not going to be, they're not going to have their sharp points rounded off or anything. So yeah, we definitely wanted to avoid that and make sure that we have the function and the aesthetic that collectors have come to expect.
I'm actually assembling here this Spartan warrior so that I can show you him. Using the same base body I was just showing you before. You add in all the weapons, and he actually has a different head as well. And there he's got his helmet, and still got the swords there. The skirt and everything will be flexible, more flexible than this piece here. It's just the material we had for the hard copy. But yeah, so there'll be... we actually have several different armor pieces available. I think we've got a total of 4 helmets, 3 different torso armors, 2 different types of shin guard armors, scabbards, the big Spartan shield. There are 4 swords for the Spartan. The spear's bent, but it won't be bent in production. We got different swords. Like I say, you got the Kopis sword, you got the long sword, the shorter sword the Spartans were famous for. The Medusa comes with a really cool bone whip, little soft material, so it'll be flexible.
Oh, neat.
There are other characters. There's the Gorgons. There's the Gorgon sisters. There's the Gorgon army, it's essentially like I don't have the piece here with me, but it's like the Medusa character with the snake tail, with different heads and really cool skull helmet, and all the patterns that the Gorgons are based on are actual snake patterns. So in Wave 1 we have the coral snake, and that's based on a coral snake. Wave 2 is based on a green garden snake. Then you got the black racer, which was just unlocked recently. And later on we get into stuff like, Andrew, what about that milk snake?
Oh yeah, the fluorescent orange albino milk snake. 2 different colors of fluorescent orange. That one's my favorite.
That sounds great. So, Spartans fought naked. You're not doing a version like that, are you?
You can actually take all the armor off if you want. So if you wanted your Spartan, he's not going to be naked. He's going to have little underwear on there, but
if that's the way you want to play, that's cool with us.
Yeah, so you can actually just pull your armor off the leg like that.
So it looks like there's 2 weeks left of the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's over. It's more than hit its goal. You're into the stretch goals. It's at $159,810. That's great. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm gonna, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go back it because I really want these figures pretty bad. They are gorgeous. So, how do people find this? How do they go to Kickstarter and search for Boss Fight Studios, or how do you prefer?
Yep, absolutely. They can just go to Kickstarter and search for Boss Fight Studio. They can also look for us on Facebook or at bossfightstudio.com. And all of those places should be easy enough to work through. And know that everyone out there, when you're pledging, you are not going to fill up our money bin so we can go diving around in it like Uncle Scrooge. Every dollar of this Kickstarter is going into the production costs of this assortment of figures.
Yeah, everything. We actually have a number of we have a lot of stretch goals. We built those in hoping that we can offer the most variety with our line. And each time, you said we're over our goal. But as we get more and more money, we unlock. It allows us to offer more and more products. And that, just like Andrew said, the money goes right into the project. It's yeah, so that we'll be able to offer. Today actually we had a special type of stretch goal hit where it was the 700 backers. We offered we actually have been trying to be very fan friendly as well with our company in general. Since launching the Kickstarter, we've been hearing a lot of requests, a lot of people wanting an Amazon character because we've got Spartans, Gorgons, Medusas, but we didn't have like a female Spartan or a female human warrior of some kind. So we saw it pop up a lot of requests for the Amazon. So we decided, hey, we can put this together. We'll offer it as an incentive to help us get to 700 backers, and we just hit that this morning. So the Amazonian figure is unlocked. So it's that's one type of stretch goal there. The other ones are typically dollar amount increments. We are actually, where are we here? We're at 159, 810 right now, which is just a little over 5,000 away from our next stretch goal, which is 2 additional characters. The younger sister of Medusa, Urael, she's really cool, as well as the Myrmidon warrior, who's been an exciting figure. A lot of people have been wanting to add. We have all kinds of stretch goals in there, and some of our ultimate stretch goals being whole new body for a skeleton figure. That's
awesome.
We really want to hit that one. I think a lot of fans want to hit that one too. So if you guys are anybody out there who's interested in action figures in general, as well as highly articulated, customizable figures and highly detailed, and Greek mythology or fantasy type figures, check it out. Please help us back the project. The more people we can get on, the closer we can get to unlocking that skeleton.
Well, I just backed it. While you were talking.
Awesome.
So obviously you want people to pledge as much as they want to or can. But if you had to recommend like a tier to back this at, like if you were a fan and you weren't producing this, as far as the incentives go, which one would you want?
You mean like this incentives offered?
Yeah.
I am a pretty big action figure collector, so I love anything that's cool and articulated and fits into like the 4-inch, 3 3/4 inch, or 6-inch scale type thing, or even with Transformers, I try to do the bigger ones like the Masterpiece and such. But so for me, it's like if I was not a part of this Kickstarter, I would go for the all-in level, which is the $500 pledge, and that gets you one of everything, which is keeps it simple there. But the really cool thing about the all-in pledge is that it's a flat rate, so anything that is unlocked is added to that for no additional. So
and the value of it gets better and better as we go on. And you don't, I mean, the thing about the all-in pledge is don't wait until later, because if you contribute now, it just helps it to get to that better value that much sooner.
Yeah. So we're actually at the tipping point now where with the Amazon and right around the corner from the Urael and Myrmidon stretch goal, where the all-in is starting to get to be a really good value. And so essentially every figure onward is free for those backers. So if we unlock everything, all the stretch goals, it ends up being about $13 a figure or something like that.
That's not bad at
Yeah.
all. That's
a
great.
lot of figures.
Now,
Yeah.
that's a lot of figures. I might have to change my backing. I went for this. I went for the 115 tier, but let me talk to my wife about that one. Or I may just not. I may just not talk with her. Yeah, she's not here. She's at
usually
work,
that's
so
what
she's
I
not
do.
here.
I'll just assume she's going to back me up on that.
Yeah, gotta back your husband's play. So.
That always happens, right?
Yeah, this is awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Anything else that you want to tell the fans before we skedaddle?
Oh, geez. I mean, like Dave said, the motto we have at Boss Fight Studio is "There are no limits," and that applies to our original, our first product line, Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, because every assortment is going to be something completely different in terms of theming, but we want to reach beyond that as well. So if you're a Transformers fan, we want to eventually, work in that neighborhood. We want to do something that's out there, and we want to do lots of different products that are going to. I think who coined this phrase? Someone we were talking with, but we want to touch all your niches, and we have big plans, and if the support is there, we want to be able to deliver you, every different kind of collectible action figure you could want in really high quality. So yeah, we're a small startup business. Please, we need every dollar, every retweet helps. So we'll take anything you got.
So you're on Twitter at boss-fight-studio. What's your Twitter account?
Hang on. I'm not the one who actually handles the Twitter.
Yeah. Actually, Eric and Trina usually handle the Twitter, and neither.
Yeah,
of them
it's
is here.
just at Boss Fight Studio.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see it right here. Excellent. So I'll follow. I've already liked it on Facebook. So this is great, guys. I'll make sure that everybody knows how to find this. And thank you so much for speaking with us. I really enjoyed
Absolutely.
this.
Thank you very much for having us on.